OpenClass mastery quizzes are low-stakes assessments that incentivize effort and encourage learning. These are best served either immediately before a lecture as a pre-class quiz or immediately following a lecture as a post-class quiz. This video will walk you through how to build these mastery quizzes and help you understand exactly what you're building. Before we get into building out your quiz content, it may be a good idea to start in the quiz settings to understand the type of quiz you're building. OpenClass quizzes require students to achieve a high level of accuracy for full credit. The purpose of this is to allow some wiggle room in assessing mastery. Students don't need to be perfect to prove they've mastered a concept. By default, the full credit threshold is 85%, but you can adjust this value as you see fit for your class. Students that fall short of this threshold are then given a second chance to review targeted feedback and optionally change any of their answers for half points back to reach your threshold. If they fall short again, they're by default given a 0 for your quiz. However, you can change the setting to enable partial credit for these students. Additional options exist to set a due date, set time limits, or enable retrieval mode. We recommend disabling time limits for pre-class quizzes and encourage open book settings for students to use quizzes as an opportunity to research and learn before you discuss this material during your class. When enabled, retrieval mode will initially present your multiple choice questions with a free response text area to jog student memory and encourage them to interact with a concept before they can view the options. Now that you've set your quiz options that best fit your class, let's get into the quiz content. First, give your quiz a title, such as Parts of Speech Quiz. Next, add your resources that pertain to your quiz content, which may include your presentation slides, pages from the textbook, lecture videos, or web pages. You'll be able to connect excerpts of these resources to your questions for students to get immediate feedback after submitting their quiz. For this example, I'll add a YouTube video and a presentation slide deck. Now the fun part, let's write some questions. Each question is a standard multiple choice question. Enter the question in the designated area with 2 to 5 options. Any option can also include an explanation for why it is correct or incorrect, which will be shown to students after they submit their quiz. By default, questions will shuffle their options, but if you want to disable this feature, click this toggle to retain the order of your options. After a student submits their quiz, they'll be shown targeted feedback for each question, and if they fall short of your full credit threshold, they'll be given the opportunity to change their answers. To connect this feedback, hover over the bottom section of the question that says, "What resources should be shown as feedback for this question?" This will expand your resources and allow you to select specific excerpts relevant to the question. For this example, I'll select an excerpt of the YouTube video and a few presentation slides. And that's one question. Your quiz may have as few or as many questions as you desire. Click the Add Question button to add new questions. Once you're done adding questions, you can click the preview icon to see how your assignment will be rendered for students. I'll walk through some different examples. Students are first shown a primer explaining how these mastery quizzes work. Specific settings, such as time limits and whether or not partial credit is enabled, will also be listed. Here's a quiz with retrieval mode enabled. Questions are initially displayed with a free response field to encourage self-generation. Upon entering their thoughts, students are then shown the multiple choice options. Here's the same quiz with a time limit and with retrieval mode disabled. Quizzes will automatically be submitted for students when the time runs out. When a student submits their quiz and falls short of the full credit threshold, they'll enter resubmission mode, which looks like this. This is where they can review your targeted feedback and critically rethink their responses. They can change any of their answers for half points back to try to reach your full credit threshold. When a student either reaches your full credit threshold on their first submission, or after they've resubmitted their quiz, they'll enter a static feedback mode, which looks like this. Students may no longer change their answers and they'll be shown their accuracy score. Students may come back to this feedback page at their own discretion to review the targeted feedback and use as an additional study resource. We understand that writing good quiz questions can take time, and as such, quizzes do not need to be completed in one sitting. All of your changes are auto-saved, and you can re-access your drafts from the OpenClass portal. But when you are ready to publish, click the Publish button. You can either schedule your quiz to publish at a future date, or publish it immediately. After you make your selection, click the Publish button. You will be redirected to the quiz dashboard, where you'll be able to track student success metrics in real time. Thank you for your hard work in building out this mastery quiz. All mastery quizzes can be cloned, reused, and optionally modified for future offerings of your course. If you need more help or support, please open a support ticket at openclass.ai/support or email our team at support@openclass.ai.